But I have found a regimen that actually has pretty much made me vertigo free that I wanted to share with you, because maybe you've tried the traditional methods and it has not worked and you are desperate for answers like I was. And hopefully today what I share with you will make a difference so you can get your life back. Hello everyone, my name is Matt Scott and I am not a doctor, a medical professional, or a physical therapist, but I am a vertigo sufferer. And a lot of times I think that can be the most helpful to hear from. If you're watching this video, obviously you've pulled it up because you struggle, you suffer with vertigo, and you've probably been like me in the past and you've had a hard time finding answers. Even sometimes people in the medical community, they mean well, but because they do not suffer from vertigo themselves, there just isn't a lot of sympathy or empathy there or understanding of what we go through or even the condition itself. For me, unfortunately, I'm one of those people that standard treatments don't work for. Okay, there are some people who have occasional bouts of BPPV vertigo. And again, if you've researched vertigo at all, you know what that means. And they can just simply sleep it off for a day, or they can simply go to a physical therapist and have an epilepsy maneuver or something done to them. And then they're fine for the rest of their life, several years, several months. Look, if that's you, then you are blessed. That has not worked for me. The different maneuvers and things do not work for me. And not quite sure why, but I have found a regimen that actually has pretty much made me vertigo free that I wanted to share with you, because maybe you've tried the traditional methods and it has not worked and you are desperate for answers like I was. And hopefully today what I share with you will make a difference so you can get your life back. Now, as I mentioned, for me, when I would do the different epilepsy maneuvers or different treatments, I would just get violently ill, very nauseous, very sick, and it actually didn't make my vertigo better. Now, I want to talk about 3 reasons why you have vertigo, or 3 things that aggravate your vertigo that maybe a lot of people won't tell you. All right, one of those things is, of course, the crystals. These crystals are calcium crystals in your ear, and they can get in the wrong place in your inner ear and can cause that feeling of spinning, or your eyes, dancing back and forth, the nystagmus as they call that. And so those crystals getting in the wrong place, for some people, they can just simply do a treatment. They can do something in their own home, move those crystals back into a better place, and they're good to go. I have a more difficult time with that. My crystals don't seem to want to get in line, okay? The other cause of vertigo can also be cervical, can also be neck issues. Well, guess what? I have disc issues as well, and instability in the neck, and so I think that plays a part into my vertigo as well. The third reason why you will have vertigo symptoms, or the third thing that can aggravate vertigo symptoms, so we're not just movement of the crystals, not just neck issues, but also sinus issues. You may have noticed that during allergy season, or when your sinuses are acting up, that you have more bouts of vertigo. And that's just because anything, and again, I'm probably not telling you something you haven't already experienced, but anything that changes the pressure in your inner ears can bring about those symptoms. And the tubes in the ears that drain back into the throat, if those get stopped up, you've probably noticed some issues. So I'm going to address the 3 main things that can aggravate your vertigo or to cause you to have a bout of vertigo, and how you can actually improve those in a way to where you can live your life symptom-free, as I finally now have. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I have some wonderful things that we're going to get to, but when we get to movement. Now, you've probably already identified with your vertigo what movements trigger it. I know for me, I cannot lay completely flat. If I lay completely flat where my head and neck and spine are on the same plane, or of course decline especially, but even flat, I'm in trouble. And also turning my head a certain position when I'm laying flat can put those crystals in the wrong place and cause vertigo symptoms. Now again, what I'm going to show you today in this video has greatly reduced my symptoms to the point where I can pretty much move my head any direction I want while I'm laying down, and I don't have the symptoms. But I also don't test that theory that often, okay? Not on purpose, because once you've identified where the problem areas are, the different directions of different movements that cause your vertigo to flare up, you want to be careful with those movements. I love to exercise. I've had to stop doing yoga. I've had to stop doing push-ups because that facing down motion and that up and down causes me to feel dizzy and sometimes have vertigo symptoms. But what I found I can do if I want to train my chest is I get on an incline bench, and I actually have a yoga block that I taped to the incline bench that keeps my head tipped a little further forward. That way I can do a bench press type motion and not have that flat position that causes my dizziness. So it is important for you to take note and notice what movements or positions cause you to feel dizzy or cause your vertigo symptoms to flare up, and then be careful about those movements. The second thing I want to talk about, and this to me I think has been the most revolutionary, addressing the issues with the crystals themselves. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video of another video that I watched from a doctor. I was desperate one night. I was having vertigo symptoms. I was so sick feeling, and I went on YouTube, just like you're doing now, and I said there's got to be something that works. And I found a doctor that was talking about how if you have not enough vitamin D, that can cause there to be an over buildup or a buildup of those crystals in your ear that can trigger or make your vertigo worse. And if you had more vitamin D, it could significantly improve your vertigo symptoms. And he said that you'll see a difference on the regimen he recommended after just 3 weeks. Well, I thought there's no way this is true, but let me look down in the comments section and see what people are saying. Sure enough, people were saying that after 3 weeks, they noticed a drastic improvement in their vertigo symptoms. So here's what he recommended. Now, I am not sponsored by these brands, nor am I recommending a brand. I'm just telling you the dosage that I have been taking from that video, okay? So first of all, vitamin D, right here, 10,000 IU, 5 of them once a week. So 5 10,000 IU tablets, that's 50,000 IU. It is a fat-soluble vitamin, so you can take it once a week, and then your body will store it and continue to use it throughout the week. Now, I'm sure you could take one a day, 10,000 IUs a day for 5 days, and good luck. Remember, if you can remember to do that, I'm sure that's fine. But for me, on Sunday night, I take it. But now, vitamin D is better absorbed in the body when taken with vitamin K2. Now, you see on this vitamin K2, it's not rated in IUs, it's rated in mcgs, 100 mcgs. So you're going to want to take 5 of these, 500 mcgs. So basically, you need 100 mcgs of K2 per 10,000 IU of vitamin D, and that's the combination that I take. Again, look at the link in the description for that. And I figured this is an inexpensive, non-invasive way for me to see if it makes a difference. And so I did this, and sure enough, after 3 weeks, I live my life now pretty much as if I don't have vertigo. That's how much of a big difference. And that's coming from someone who is having vertigo attacks on a weekly basis. And you know how it is. You can have a day off planned, you can have a vacation planned, or you could be needing to go into work and get work done. And when you have a vertigo attack, that's it. Game over. You can't do a thing. So you know how miserable it can be and how much it can interrupt your life. It's worth trying a vitamin D and K2 supplement if it'll make a difference for you. And it has for thousands of people, and it actually worked for me as well. Now, the next thing I want to address is the sinuses, because this has also made a big difference in really my overall health, but also my dizziness and my vertigo, because I also experience dizziness associated with sinus issues in addition to the vertigo. My doctor and different medical professional friends have been telling me about this for years, and I have been stubborn and not listened. I finally listened, and it is a game changer, okay? So what happens in your sinuses is that they dry out, and then they crack, and then bacteria can get in those cracks, and that causes a sinus infection, okay? Plus, they just can get clogged, they can get dirty. Well, if you take distilled water, okay, I just take distilled water, and I can either fill it halfway up, and I'll explain to you what this is. I can fill it halfway up if I want and use 1 packet of saline salt, or I can fill it up all the way and use 1 or 2, okay? I love this because, as you know, if you have vertigo, you don't like to tilt your head. And a lot of these, a neti pot, you might have heard of that before, you have to actually tilt your head to get the water to come in one nostril and out the other. Well, no bueno for me, okay? But what I love about this is it actually has a straw that goes down into the bottom of the container, and it's a squeeze bottle. So when you squeeze, the liquid comes up. So I can put this on one nostril, I can keep my head straight up and down, lean over the sink, and I can squeeze, and the saline solution water will go in one nostril and then out the other. And I'll do half on one side and then half on the other, and then you just blow it out without trying to sound too nasty. This will keep your sinuses clean, and it will keep them lubricated, which prevents sinus infections, and that will reduce your dizziness and your vertigo symptoms. On top of that, I used to get sinus infections and used to have to take antibiotics at least once a year. Now that I do this at least once a day, never happens again. I've never had a sinus infection again doing this. Highly recommend a saline rinse in your nose. And by the way, I just warm up the water in here in the microwave for just, a few minutes till it gets slightly warm. Put the saline packet in, shake it up, squeeze it, and you're good to go. So take care of your sinuses. It's good for your health, but it also can help tremendously with your vertigo. And then coming to the final stretch here of taking care of your sinuses, you may need some type of a over-the-counter sinus medicine. Now, I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of this, but cetirizine, it is an over-the-counter anti-allergy medication. It can cause you to feel a little drowsy, so I'd recommend taking it at night. It works for me to take it about an hour or two before bedtime. That way I don't wake up in the morning groggy, and it helps me sleep. And this can actually reduce the risk of you having a vertigo attack at night, because you're preventing your sinuses from overreacting and having sinus issues during the night. And so this can make a big difference getting on a regimen with an actual over-the-counter sinus medication. And last but not least, this is a new little tool in my tool belt, and I will tell you that I haven't used it long enough to definitively come up with an answer of what I feel about it, but I do feel like it's made a positive difference. It's called D-Vertigo. I'm gonna get it close enough if I can there for you. It's called D-Vertigo. I found this at Walgreens, CVS, any pharmacy. It's an oil that you put on your fingers and you rub behind your ears when you're having dizziness or when you're having a vertigo attack. And supposedly, this has actually been recommended by doctors and can reduce the severity of a vertigo attack or actually stop a vertigo attack. I will tell you that there's been a few times when I've done a movement I should not have done. I started to feel a little dizziness coming on, and I rubbed this on my ears and it stopped it. Now, I've had different people, different medical practitioners, different therapists that I see, they think that it's something to do with the smell of the oils that helps rather than just the absorption. I don't know, but all I know is it has helped me with my dizziness. And as you know, anything you can do that's not prescription medication that works is worth a try. So I would strongly encourage you, first and foremost, the vitamin D K2. If you do nothing else, I would highly recommend that. Secondly, take care of your sinuses with a saline rinse. You may need to take some type of over-the-counter sinus medication, and this is a non-chemical herbal way to try to help out when you are having an actual vertigo attack. Guys, like I said, I've tried a lot of things. A lot of the traditional medical physical therapy treatments for vertigo do not work for me and just make me more sick. And I know a lot of people who've experienced that. This has worked. Stick with it. Let me know in the comments what you experienced, and check in the description of this video to see the video about the vitamin D K2 combination. I hope this helps you out. I hope you get relief. I feel for you. I empathize with you. I sympathize with you. I understand how it feels, but take care of yourself, because you can have an enjoyable life and you can have freedom from vertigo.